get to the top amidst all these challenges that are inevitable in your career. So for me, that's important.
Thank you for sharing, Dominic. Thank you. Yes, very great learning. Challenges are, and what I particularly like is been around for over 2 decades, and that means it's been industry within those period. We're in the COVID, so I need to see how he navigated through all of that. Thank you for sharing with us, Dominic. Will one more person like to go before I hand over to Madam Ife? Okay, yes, Kelly Wisdom, please go ahead and share with us your expectation.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I think I expect to meet him. I expect to know how he started his career as a young professional. I hopefully expect to learn some certain things that facilitated his speedy growth in industry, and what other challenges he had while being in industry and how he was able to overcome them. And if there is any advice you have for other younger professionals in the industry. So I expect to get to learn all this today.
All right, thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing with us. I'm sure that at the end of today's Hangout and event, we must, I'm sure that the feeling in the house will be that of fulfillment and satisfaction. I have no doubt that all our expectations will be met, and the facilitator will even go well beyond all that we expected. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for the opportunity, Madam Ife. Please, over to you now.
And as professional as I'm seeing, so thank you for leading that conversation. However, we didn't prepare for that. I just called you, and you're already right on your feet to take on the challenge. Thank you so much, Emanuela. So good afternoon, everybody, and it's a great pleasure to have you here. I am particularly delighted, to have people who are enthusiastic to learn, to grow, and to make the most of their career journey. Not people who want to just hang in there, they use that word. My name is Ifeoluwa Esther Obafemi, and maybe most of you would know, but for those who do not know, that is my name. And here is a platform that I would not say I host alone, because I have a number of people who are also equally passionate about growing themselves and also growing others. So how did this Hangout with industry giants, how did it come about? So it was born out of the need to bridge the gap between, veterans, or so to say, industry experts and giants who have accomplished great feats in their profession, and we would bridge the gap between them and the fast rising early to mid-career professional. Here is our belief that there is so much to learn from those who have gone first. And I am a personal example. I said to myself sometimes, I said, some of the things that I got to know later on, if there had been a platform, as there's maybe some part of my journey could have been faster. But the truth is, well, my path went the way it went, and I'm happy for it. But what about others? Should others make the same mistake I got into? Should others start to get into the same pitfall that industry giants have also gotten into in their career? The answer is no. So on this platform today, our guests, who will be introduced at the appropriate time, will share with us his successes, some of the learnings, if some would want to call it mistake. Let's be honest about it. What are the secrets to climbing? What are the strategies for growth? What are industry-specific tips? He has grown through the ranks in supply chain manufacturing, and is a leader par excellence. So there are quite a number of things to also learn from that. He's also a business leader. He has a good understanding of every aspect of business. So we're going to learn from him. Then there will be some questions, related questions, burning issues that we are also free to ask in today. So I would not speak so much on that intro. You will be here. You are going to see how it will all pan out. So let me introduce our moderator today. And here is his role. He, because of also his background and because he is a super fast rising professional, and I've invited him to this platform. Of course, you will hear from him. He will inspire you, and he will coordinate conversation at this. We call it a tea time meeting. So let's see how that goes. So Temitope Bandele works with Prison Campina. He's a customer supply chain director for Africa, Prison Campina Africa, where he leads a team of senior supply chain managers responsible for 42 countries in Africa. Titi, please come on camera as I'm introducing you. Your head should be sparking, you know. He has about 15 years experience in supply chain, having worked with other multinational companies like Unilever, Procter & Gamble, across several countries in Africa. And prior to, you will hear this now, prior to his journey in supply chain, can you believe he's a banker? You know, he was a banker, so to say. He was a banker. He had the banking, the financial industry experience. And to think that he has his first degree in engineering and advanced to take on a master's degree in operations and supply chain. He is the founder of Supply Chain Professional Forum, a networking platform for people in that practice, and is a member of a lot of outstanding professional body. Without much talk, he is a career coach, and he creates content, and also is vast in public speaking. So Titi, you can just come on the mic. Your head should be swelling by now. Highly resourceful, purpose-driven, and value-driven individual. He has achieved great success in his career, and I salute you. He is married, and he has 3 energetic kids. Good to have you on board. Titi, over to you now. We call him Titi. It's Temitope Bandele, but we give him that, well, I think he's the one that has to be called Titi. So, Titi, good to have you on board. And good afternoon, everyone. You'll be hearing from me in the course of the conversation again.
If this is fantastic. Good afternoon, Ife. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. And actually, you're making my head swell right now. It is not about me today. It is about Doyin Ashiru. So let's keep it that simple. First of all, let me say thank you very much to everyone on the show today. And thank you so much, Ife, for putting this up together. It's really a great honor hanging out with someone like you, Ife, who I also respect so much, and also a couple of other professionals on the platform today. Guys, looking forward to this. When I was told, I'm actually going to moderate a session with a giant himself. For some of you that may not know him, I'm going to give you a bit of introduction about who Doyin is, but also it will be interesting to let you know that we call him the lion. Let's think so, because he's never scared, because he doesn't get in the face of troubles, in the face of challenges, because he's the one that will always approach things holistically, strategically, and always drive results. I'm not going to go, he might tell you a bit about this in the course of the session today, but first of all, thank you. I'm really happy to be here today. Thanks, Ife, for that awesome introduction. It's a pleasure. I don't know if you're all hearing me, guys. If you're hearing me, can I just see probably some thumbs up in the comment section, just to be sure that we are all on the same page today, okay? If you can hear me, yeah, let me just see in the chat box. Just put some thumbs up or something to show that, yes, you can hear me clearly. Loud and clear, fantastic. Thank you very much. And I can see that we have about 30 people already in this session. If you're doing a great job bringing like-minded people together on the show like this. Thank you so much. It's an honor. Having said that, I have also a very, very big privilege to introduce the lion himself. In the person of Ashiru. I'm going to start a few of, let me tell you this, it's just a few. Whatever you heard now is just a few from the University of Benin between 1985 and 1989. After that, he went and got his MBA in 1988 from the University of Lagos. And he attended Executive Development Program from the prestigious IMD Business School. He's also a registered member of Mechanical Engineers of Nigeria. Mr. Doyin Ashiru has over 25 years experience across the globe. When I say across the globe, I mean across the globe. I think he has even worked outside the country most of his life, more than he has worked in the country. Doyin Ashiru worked with General his supply chain career as a plant manager. Then he went ahead and joined the famous Unilever, where he worked for over 8 years. Okay, and in Unilever, he had several experiences across different supply chain functions and also across the globe as well. Doyin joined Unilever in the post of Regional Supply Chain Excellence Manager. He worked as the head of quality and sustainability afterwards. Then he moved to Coca-Cola. Okay, that's where he had the role of head of quality and sustainability. He held this role also for 3 years and 6 months. And then he returned back to Unilever as the manufacturing director. This role, so then he moved to Freestone Campina as the operations director for Freestone Campina, Nigeria, a position he held for 5 years. When he worked, then he also moved. I think if I missed this out, after Freestone Campina, Nigeria, Doyin moved to Freestone Campina, Philippines for almost about a year as well, where he also had the role of operations director. Okay, today, Doyin Ashiru is the current sector lead director for Food and Beverage New Jersey Economic Development Authority in the USA. He has proven to be an international experienced business leader with expertise and demonstrable knowledge in business performance and operational improvement. He's a seasoned, ambitious operations, supply chain, and manufacturing expert with a strong track record of achievement, developing and directing strategic global business development initiative in every changing dynamic environment. Doyin is an accomplished presenter, negotiator, and business person. He actually has a very high acumen of money-making matters. He's able to forge solid relationship with partners and build a consistent focus across multiple organizational level. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Doyin Ashiru. Okay, some people are saying, I can't hear. You can't hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm seeing the chat where some people are saying I can't hear you clearly.
From here.
Okay, maybe that could be the network. Okay, fantastic. All right, so those are the letters. But now let me tell you the other side of Doyin. And that's why I'm actually happy to be here today to moderate this session. I worked with Doyin for about 5 years in Freestone Campina. I actually reported directly into Doyin. I tell you today, I am super proud and super happy to say where I have been today in terms of my career. It has been up to God and up to Doyin. Doyin will look straight into your eyes and tell you, I am willing to get you to this place. Now it's up to you. Okay? It will tell you your career is not in the hands of your boss. Your career is in your own hands. Doyin will go into the boardroom and you will make a presentation for him. And from the beginning of this presentation, he will tell everybody in the boardroom, this so person in my team made this presentation. That is the kind of leader that will give you visibility and also encourage you to actually shine. And if I did not send me to do this, but I want to use this medium to first of all say thank you, Doyin Ashiru. Thanks for those careers you've built in others. Thanks for helping others to grow. Thanks so much for what you've done in people's life, people's careers, I start mentioning names today, those in Unilever, I'm sure they are saluting today and saying, yes, Doyin has been able to turn their career in and out and over. And people in Freestyle Campina today, definitely they've not been able to forget you in a hurry. Thank you so much, Doyin. If you look into the operations team of Freestyle Campina today, I was telling someone, and it sounds like a joke. I said in 5 years, I did not see anyone under Doyin Ashiru that was not promoted. I did not see one, not a single one. Some even got, for information, I got 2 promotions under Doyin Ashiru. So thank you very much, Doyin. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me and welcome the lion himself, Doyin Ashiru. Okay, can we hear from you, sir?
And
Thank you, everybody.
TT, we can't see you anymore.
Okay.
TT, we can't see you anymore. It's all blank and black here. Pardon, sir.
Oh,
Welcome
really?
on, but
Okay.
I hope I can be heard very well.
yes, very clear.
Okay, thanks.
Loud and clear.
Great.
Loud and clear, sir.
So thanks, everybody. I mean, thanks to the team that put this together.
All right, sir. So,
Go ahead. Yeah, so thanks to the team that, that put this together. It's actually an honor for me. Hello, are you still talking?
Thank you very much, sir. We were really happy to. Yes, but I think there's a bit of delay, but it's okay. We can manage that. So, sir, today we are hanging out with you. We're going to do this so informally. But even while we do it informally, we want to understand your secrets, okay? You're going to share with us today. Even if you don't, we'll put it out of you. We want to understand what exactly you've done so far to yourself, to your careers, to your career. What has taken you thus far? What is that thing that makes you tick? What is that thing that makes you really a giant in Africa today and even outside Africa? That everywhere you hear that name, Doyin Ashiru, everyone will be like, let me use that word in my language, Babani. So what is it? What has your journey been like over this period of years?
Okay, thanks, Titi. Thanks, Ife and the team that put this together. That's a very good one. I mean, when I think Ife sent me a message sometimes ago, I can't remember, probably August, or I think it was in August, that he wants me to do this. I was wondering, how is it that possible? Because number one, if you want me to do this, she was talking about weekend. I said, hey, my weekend is different. I always play golf on weekend because that's one thing I do. And of course, the time zone is also a factor. That the only way we can get this done is in the morning, my morning time. So I'm sorry if I'm disturbing other people's afternoon because I know what Lagos or Nigeria is about with social life on weekends. So it's let me put it that way, that, well, it's an honor to be part of this, and it's an honor to actually tell you a bit of my stories, because I don't know where to start. I don't know any story. But one thing I would say is there are 4 key things that normally drive me. I would not get out of my house in the morning without praying. That's the first thing. So there's God. You must always realize that whatever you are today, it's God that made you. So I will not leave my house in the morning without praying. Then the second thing that drives me is that in every organization, sorry about that. You see, I'm not saying born again or something. Everybody knows me. I mean, I'm a red wine person and I enjoy myself. But you must always realize that you are nobody without God. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is that in everything you do, you must have a clear purpose. Why am I here? Why am I doing this thing? And is it worth my time? Because if you don't have a purpose of why you are in any place and you're just a passenger, you miss the bus. You understand? You may even slip off inside the train or the bus. So it's important that you must have a clear purpose for yourself. Once you define your purpose, okay, this is why I'm here and this is me and this is what I want to be, then what is your focus? What are you looking at to getting at? You understand? Because if you don't have the focus of, I give easy example. I was talking to some team members on Wednesday, and they asked me, what sort of leader am I? I said, I like to be called a flight captain. And the essence of being called a flight captain is that a flight captain takes off the aircraft. You understand? It prepares the aircraft, takes off the aircraft. And you know what that means is that you carry a lot of life on your hands. And then when the flight takes off, it hands over to the flight officer who continues the journey. The flight captain will come back to take leadership of the flight if the flight gets into turbulence. That moment when you have the rock and roll. You understand? In the flight. The flight captain takes over and makes sure that at least all systems are working. And it keeps his eyes on all the dashboards and monitoring the system and everything. And of course, in landing the aircraft is also the responsibility of the flight captain, which in effect means that you take responsibility for everything, but allow others to drive it for you. You must then believe in people. That is where your leadership actually comes to be. You can never achieve anything if you don't believe in your team. You understand my point? So the way I look at it is this. Number one, whatever you want to do, never leave yourself alone. Always believe that at least you have to pray and be guided. That gives you the fear that once you know that there's God, that gives you the fear of people and whatever you're going to do. Then when you join an organization, people join organization for different reasons. The question I always ask somebody is that, why are you here if you are not ready to make your contribution? Because if you don't know why you're here, the employer actually employed you to deliver results. The employer employed you to contribute to the business. Most especially, I'm sure most of us work in private sector here. You are not there just to earn an income. Somebody is paying you because he wants you to do something for him, and that is to lift the business. And if the business collapses, then you all get out of the business. That is the fact I always tell people. So most GT and others will tell you, I don't play politics with that. You have to realize that first, this is why I'm here, and this is what I need to deliver. And what are my responsibilities to delivering it? In doing that, there will be a lot of obstacles. And it's your job in life to always find a way to maneuver around every obstacles. It is you, like I always tell people, don't ever come to me. Titi will tell you why things cannot be done. You understand? I always look at, if there is something that's impossible, you must always find a way around it.
Yeah.
You understand? Because one thing I always tell people is this: wherever there's a will, there's always a way. But that way must be done with honesty and with integrity. But wherever there's a will, there's always a way. You must always find a way out of every situation. Yes, you may need help. Some people would naturally put obstacles around you, but how do you navigate around it? That is what is important. You understand? That is number two. Then never, I always tell people also in the union, those who had worked with me in, don't let me go too far. In even WAMCO, I'm not sure the impression they will have about me with the union. Because when I got in 2015, what I met in the system was what I would call a cone organization. What I mean by cone is that it is top heavy, especially in operations. Top heavy, you have so many people who have spent 20, 30 years and they don't have directions for themselves. Even at that time, WAMCO was a place where even headhunters don't even go to because people are so complacent and everything. And the first meeting I had the opportunity that before I invited me of the leadership MT meeting, and I sat in there, and some guys were presenting, and I looked at it that, what the hell am I coming to do here? Because those guys cannot even think out of the box. You understand? But when I came in, I realized the immediate problem. And the first thing is that if everybody feels that this organization is a profit-making organization, and We all can continue to get all our benefits. How long will it take this business to survive? And what I said then came to play because by 2016 was when we got into the first major turbulence of Forex, which is what is currently happening again in Nigeria. And the first thing I did was that I identified some of the guys, I looked at some of the brilliant guys out of them, but nobody had any exposure. And I felt I need to do something different. So some of the young guys, because another thing I do is this, which TT and others can confirm, I always have what is called one-on-one with my team. That one-on-one gives me opportunity to understand what is going on in their life. The one-on-one, when I started it, is not about discussing about you. What are the issues? What are you thinking? Because so many people they're coming and there are so many things that are affecting them. And my job as the leader is to make sure that I understand where they stand and what they do. And then I also have what is called skip level chat. Skip level chat is I go below my direct reports and I pick people at random I want to talk to. And when I pick people at random I want to talk to, it helps me to understand what they feel about their own leaders, who are my own direct reports. But I'm not going to take this against my direct report. It means that there's an opportunity for improvement. And I never discuss whatever I discuss with those keep level chats with my team. That this is what somebody said about you. I mean, Titi is there, you can confirm that. But I take it to understand that, look, this is some areas of polishing that this guy needs to get that leadership. Because I talk to my direct report one-on-one. I need to also know what people feel about them because I call it 360 degrees. Yes, some people do all those 360 degrees in writing. Believe it, when somebody writes 360 degrees about you, is not actually giving you a good view about yourself. But in conversation, you kind of get it indirectly. So it helps.
Can I interrupt you briefly, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because I already noted a lot of things that you mentioned, which I can actually confirm in this meeting as well. So I remember very well my interview with you, and you had joined. I think you joined in March. I came in June
May.
or so. Yeah. So, and I remember I looked straight into your face and said, "Sir, what are you doing here?" I remember I found you in a one cubicle office as at that time, and you said something. You said, "Give me 6 months. I am going to change this whole place." And that was it. By January 2016, the entire Freestyle Campaigner became a totally different in terms of infrastructure. So how do you know as a leader, how do you actually spot what gave you that high of quality? How do you actually spot the right resource, the right way of working? What is your driver?
Yeah, that's a good question. What I look at is that, well, one thing is also about my journey in life. I've had opportunity here and there to see things that is wrong. And like I said, when somebody employs you, they employ you for a purpose. So what is that purpose you are there for? I came in there as an operations director. As an operations director, the first thing is that you need to drive the business profitability. If you have to drive the business profitability, means that you must produce the product, get the product to the market at the right time, and drive it at the right cost. So when you look at that, how will I get the product to the market when safety concern was high? I remember when I had my first walkthrough, I was seeing pallets everywhere, even in the, what's it called, evap factory. I navigated the evap factory as if I was going through trees with pallets. And at that time, the door of evap factory was just exposed to everywhere. So the first thing I said is that this factory, if I work with NAFDAC, I will shut it down. And at that time also, I look at it that what impact will this organization have on if I invite somebody from outside, would they drink this milk again? So which investment, like I said earlier, You have people that are like a cone organization where you have, excuse me, please, where you have top level old people who doesn't see anything wrong again. And meanwhile, below them, you have young people, which I will not mention names, who doesn't see future. You understand? Because when they look up, they have so many people up there that have spent years. And my target then is that if I have to bring down costs, I also have to look at the labor cost, because these top people are costing the business more. So it's a matter of how do I turn the cone? When I say cone, let me just draw it so that people can see what I mean by that. How do I draw? So I don't know if you can see this. Oh, sorry. This was the top level. This was the demography then. And you have some young people, like I think one of the youngest then is still there now.
If you can read that.
One of the
You can raise
youngest
it up a
then,
bit.
let me redo it just a minute. One of the youngest I have there is still there till today. Sheyi was among the youngest people
Yes.
in supply chain. And the question then is that even one of them, Bingpe, ran out of supply chain because she doesn't see any future as well. So the
And
question
now
then
she's
is,
back.
I heard so. So the question then is that how do I turn it around to have more younger people? And then at some point, when I was leaving WAMCO, I was the oldest person in the operations.
That's
So you
true.
can imagine
Yeah.
where I was in the mid-range here to the point that I became this and I now have more younger people. And what this does is that it changes the dynamics of the industry. You now have people that are coming in with fresh ideas, people that are coming in to start looking at you in the face to talk to you. When I was inviting you in then, one of the first problem I saw was that, like I said, my job is to produce the product, get it to the market at the right time, get the right materials in at the right time, because it was end-to-end supply chain. And I look at the planning system and I said, this is a shit. Because if your planning is not right, you miss the boat. And that was why I invited you. I mean, thank you then. You'd never even, I think it was a phone call I gave you. As I sent me your CV.
Yes.
It was actually in April. Send me your CV. And you sent it. And I just told Tommy Oni, I want this guy in. Tommy said, we have to do interview. I said, I don't believe in interview. And then they said, I have to meet you. Did we even discuss anything at the interview?
No.
So, you understand? Because I knew you. I knew what you could do. So that is one of the things. You have to identify people that can help you. You are not God. You cannot do everything alone. You have to identify people that can help you. That is the first thing. You must also look down the line.
I would like to pick you on again on that, because a lot of people also had had this belief that for them to climb up a ladder in life, yes, they have to know someone. Fine. But a lot of people had also lost that contest of knowing someone to be bootlicking, eye service, and
I was
not even
actually going to go into that.
okay.
I mean, you are not that close to me. You understand? No. But you didn't know why we sent you to South Africa then. It was because of your performance. One thing I would tell people is this. Number one, when you get into a workplace, that's part of the other topic to talk about, focus. When you get into a workplace, you are brought in for a purpose, and the purpose is to support the business to grow. And the purpose is to make your own contribution to the business. Then the next thing is your focus. When you get into organization, people tend to lose the focus while they are there. Your focus is about what are your deliverables? What are the targets that you need to deliver? What are the things you need to do exceptionally? You understand?
Yeah.
Those performance actually speak for you. One problem people have is this. They believe that until they start politics, until they start to align with those sort of things, and then knocking on their bosses, eye service or something.
Yeah.
That is when they get relevance. Bootlicking. You know how I work. At least it's good that you are moderating this. If somebody come to my office and talk about you, what do? I tell the person, sit down, and I call you in, repeat what you said. So when you do that twice, nobody come and tell me about any other person. You understand?
Absolutely.
I remember one challenge you used to have with quality then, and then when somebody were pointing, and I just, in my office, that was when we were doing the reconstruction, and I just put chairs round everywhere, and all of us sat in circle. But you saw the way we resolved it because things came out. So what I was trying to say is that never play politics. When you're in an organization, you have to be there because you are employed as an individual. You are not employed in group. You are not employed into a political party. Your boss that is looking for allegiance, that is looking for this, is because of lack of security. It's only an insecure person that will encourage gossip, that will encourage people to come and be backbiting, and that will encourage people to come to his house and be becoming what do I call it, watchman or an errand boy. You understand? How many of you come to my house? Do you even know where I live? You understand?
No, sir.
Because I kept, if anybody wants to meet me at the golf course, that's where I meet people. Because I kept work away from my personal life. And I don't want to play politics with anybody's career. Because if you are developing people, you must develop their career, and you must be seen as being authentic and leading from the front. You must not make it look like it's all about me. You understand? That's why I never encourage politics then. And that's why
Thank you, sir. Sorry to also interrupt you because I want our audience also to get the feel of this whole gist. If you also have questions, please put in the questions in the chat box. We'll definitely take your questions. You've said a lot of things. Don't play politics, but I will also add to this that don't play politics at the detriment of others, because there are some other business, of course, boardroom politics, which has to be played. But you did something so well, and I would like us to learn from that. I realized at some point that yes, you have a target to deliver, you have a business objective which you need. You also realize that for you to meet that, you need to invest in people. And I would say it was when you joined as at that time. Even let me go back to your days in Unilever. I still remember a lot of people. It was in your days in Unilever that you started sending even junior technician managers for FAT. Initially, it used to be, the top engineer, the engineering manager alone. And the same thing you did also when you got a freelance campaigner. You gave a lot of people opportunity to be exposed into different way of working, exposed into into best class approaches and stuff like that. WCOM was one of them. So what will you say to us, and especially to people in this audience today, who have always believed that they just have to wake up in the morning and do what they have to do the same way, old way, and still get a new result? And also, because I see that we have a lot of business managers and even leaders in this meeting today as well. A lot of leaders also have this mindset of target, objective, deliver, but you're not investing in the people that will deliver that. What advice do you have for them and how to balance this?
Yeah, thank you. One of the things is, like I mentioned, which was the last part of the topic, were people. I said it earlier on, you can never achieve anything if you have mediocres working for you. And that's why I always tell you guys, never subsidize mediocrity. That's encourage it. Because one thing is this, you have to look at who are like you mentioned, let's start with the FAT. One of the things I do every day is that when I get into work in the morning, I don't open my laptop.
By the way, for other people, FAT means factory acceptance test. Yeah. Just for the non-engineers that are in our midst.
You know that the first thing, once I get into work, the first thing I do, I don't open my laptop. What do? I walk around the entire site. And when I walk around the entire site, that gives me another visibility of having direct contact with the operators, direct contact with the shop floor, meeting them every morning gets me a lot of information, and I get to see a lot of challenges on the floor. You get into this factory or you get into this place, you have just a casual conversation, is interested in this thing, but it doesn't have. Then the question then is that why don't I equip this person to take for the person to get the right ownership? You understand? So in those days, let me still use WAMCO without going too far. In those days, when I got into WAMCO, we have a pattern in place where even FAT were not even being done by senior engineers. It's being done by the guys in Netherlands on our behalf. And when the equipment comes, I actually remember that in April 2015, I was just walking around and I saw some equipments being delivered in containers and all those. And I said, what equipments are these? They said, no, they ordered them. How did they get about? Nobody knew. I said, that must stop immediately. And when the equipment were to be installed and commissioned, we were waiting for the experts to come. And I said, that must stop immediately. The next thing was that I need to get the technicians to take ownership of the equipment. And that was why I made sure that the technicians started going out of the country. Because if you deliver an equipment, if you are part of an equipment when it's being coupled together, and by the time they bring it to your country, you are part of the installation and commissioning team, then it's easier for you to own the equipment as the operator. And what I look at is that I've never, Titi can confirm that I never get involved in selection of those who go for it. The question I will ask is that who is going to be the user of the equipment? This person. Okay, this person has to go. And at that time, people felt that my colleagues were, at the MT felt I was wasting money. I said, no, I'm not wasting money, I'm investing in. Then also, one of the things is this, I realized that you need to build your team's confidence. When most of these experts come around, you see our team members kind of looking at them like God. And I felt that this is wrong. I've had opportunity in my career to have been out of the country. And I know how much respect I have from these so-called experts over there. So that was one of the reasons I introduced short-term attachment for my middle-level managers, that they must go to Europe or every other place for at least 6 months. And I think I did that. I must have had nothing less than 15 to 20 people out of the country. Sometimes I had 6 people out of the country at the same time. And people are saying, are you going to recruit people to replace? I said, no, we'll survive. But these guys came back and they became part of the champions of the business, because 2 things that they achieved: they were able to see businesses and factories in a different perspective. They were able to see how things are running in other environments. And they brought that learning back. And then another thing that I actually look at more is the fact that they were able to build self-confidence. People are able to now kind of challenge even things that are coming from Europe. People are able to know that this is what is right, this is what is not right. Because like I always say, I'm not too good in Yoruba adage that at times you think that you are the best until you go to somebody's house, then that's when you know that you have more learning to do. So you exposing people, actually, you may think is to their own benefit. I will tell you that all the success I recorded were due to these people that I exposed, were due to these people that are, because I couldn't achieve my target, I couldn't deliver on my plans if these people were not exposed to help me to deliver my target. And don't think that I was doing them a favor. I was actually doing myself a favor.
Yourself.
In making
Exactly.
sure that
that's what a
I
lot of
build the
people
right
don't
team.
realize.
So even one of them came back one day and brought me I can't remember. I said, look, my friend, go and give it to your team there. Let them have it. I don't, So because I didn't do it because I needed to be, I needed to be recognized or gratified. Whatever I do to people below me is for me to get the benefit that will help my own career and deliver on my own result.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you very much.
It was a transparent thing, and there was nobody that ever came to me or give me a call or saying that I want to go out of the country. But at least don't think that it was a favor. It was to my own benefit.
Thank you very much. That really explains it, because leaders, when you build the team under you, you actually do this for your benefit as well, because you need people to deliver your result. Ebenezer Ajayi here is asking a question, and I have also a similar question, so let's merge it together. It said in-house operators ownership to avoid sabotage and clogging. Direct UDS empowerment there. It said indigenous technical experts are not any lesser than those from abroad, especially with white skin. It boils down to exposure. Thank you very much, Ebenezer, on that. And my question now, sir, is that you've had a lot of experience outside Nigeria, outside Africa, and now today you're working in the US. So you've climbed this ladder, I would say, so smoothly. And we had a question also before this meeting, where someone asked that, what do you need? Do you need the hard skills or the soft skills to actually climb this ladder? A lot of people will say yes, if you do not have this experience, you cannot become operations director. Or if you do not if you do not do engineering, yeah, you cannot become like. If you do not do marketing or sales, you cannot become a managing director. So what do we need? How do we balance our soft skills and also the technical skills in the journey of this ladder, career ladder that we want to climb?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a good question also. Number one, the thing I the first thing, when I got out of the university, I joined a Nigerian bottling company in Coca-Cola LNE as a trainee engineer. And as young as I was then, I had a lot of exposures, because then as trainee engineer, we were moving from one factory to the other. But one thing I quickly picked up in that environment was that was not an environment for me. After about, I can't remember how many months I spent there. I spent more than a year. I think a year, about 15 months. I felt this organization is like an organization where even as a trainee, one boss is telling you, go and buy me food and all those sort of things. And I never believed in that. So the first thing I asked myself is that, what am I doing here? If you look at yourself and you don't find your feet, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing here? You understand? And that's actually what took me into Unilever UAC, because Unilever used to own UAC. And when I was in Unilever UAC, I started, and I have to start my management training again. You understand? And with, excuse me, within 3 months of joining Unilever UAC, I was actually sent to Mantrack, which is now, it used to be called Tractor and Equipment, for my management training. And I noticed one thing that the MD of the business was doing, then Bob Clark. He walks around the business every day. Once he comes in, and that's where I copied that idea from. And one day he saw me and he said, I see you also walking around this. And I was just 24, 25, I can't remember, and said, because I saw you doing this. And one day we now started working together. Believe it, within 3 months, that guy gave me a very tough assignment, which could have cost me my life, but I was able to navigate it because it was to restructure their inventory control system. But the people who were benefiting from it wanted me out. But I was able to do it, and that kind of charted my path. And from there, I was moved to General Motors, where I was given accelerated development. One of the things that made me to now believe in people was that at that time when I moved to General Motors, as a young person, I was going to be given an assignment. You know what these guys did? They plugged me, they embedded me as a member of the Technical Resource Committee, which was a committee of technical directors. And I was just a young engineer. And my job was to be their secretary. I was hearing, but I cannot speak. That allows me to understand something in life, that you are never there when you are being discussed. Because at that meeting, those meetings were where careers are being discussed and where people's progression are being discussed. And I learned a lot from there, that when you are being discussed, don't even think that politics help you. Because that is when somebody will say, oh, I want this guy to be, somebody say, no, that guy, that is this, that is that, and they killed it. It is not because of the guy didn't go and do the errand. It is because they cannot point at the success of the guy. You understand? It is not like praise singing or anything. And that really sharpened me that, look, in life, you own your career. You have to focus, because I remember I was sitting in one of the meetings where two of those big guys were talking about one guy passionately, and the other guy just said, show me the achievement. Just tell me two things you can say this person has done. Then I'll give up on my argument. And you need consensus of 5 people before somebody can be promoted. And one person just said no. You understand? And because they couldn't present any, let's even look at what are his targets. That was when they brought out the guy's performance, and realized that he's been appraised on, let me put it this way, not qualitative languages, not even on quantitative. Oh, he's a nice guy, he's this and that. And they said that is not the purpose of the business. You understand? There's no nice man. That was actually where one of the languages I heard, there's no nice man at work. At work must be a fighter. At work must be somebody that is ready to deliver. The business is not here as a charity organization. It's not a political environment. So that sharpened me. And when Unilever was being sold, selling off UAC, I was one of the few that had what is called return ticket to Unilever. So that was why I crossed to Unilever after that. And when I got to Unilever, and I happened to be, luckily, the same MD that was in my first MD in UAC, Bob Clark, had also crossed to Unilever. So he became the MD of Unilever. So he knew the kind of person, and he gave me one of the tough assignments, which was what you have in Unilever today, the open plan, moving Unilever from Apapa. I was among the team moving Unilever from Apapa to the current Oregon. And I was among the first set of people to bring up the open plan something. In those days, it used to be cubicle office, like prison walls, which all sort of things go behind. It was a whole lot of cultural change challenges and all those things. So what I'm trying to say is that when you get into an organization, go back to what I said, my third point, focus on why you are there. Your results will move you. Then if you find out that the organization doesn't fit your plan and your purpose, or you've done 3, 4, 5 years, it's not a matter of asking your boss, oh, your boss didn't like me. It's a matter of asking yourself, am I doing the right thing? Am I where I should be? Never, even the world is changing, never be afraid to get out also. Because complacency allows you, once you get to a point, you become what is called a staleite. You are still, nobody's interested in you. Complacency makes you not to even see the future for yourself. Then is the fear. People say, okay, if I get out there, how will I get a job? Be from the day one.
Fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown. Look, the unknown will always sort itself out. Never be afraid to challenge that. Ask yourself, why am I here if I cannot be this person? And you have to drive that. And it's only you and yourself that can drive it. Maybe you only need somebody to encourage you, somebody to tell you, look, if you have to move a mountain or climb a mountain to do this, you have to do it. But believe it, you own your career. Nobody owns it for you.
Wow.
Some sort of a penny for your thoughts there, Titi. So yes. Speaking of which, you mentioned, we often hear people say that you should start planning your exits, even right from the day you got into an organization. How really realistic is this? What are the chances? How possible? It seems like it's just everyone repeating the same thing. You hear most, pros or people who had gone ahead in their career say, it's a plan your exit, but what's the practical lead behind this?
Yeah, the practical lead behind this is this. Few things help you. Go back to your focus. When you are delivering your results, people are discussing you out there. And like I said, you are never there when you are being discussed. Most of my moves were based on recommendations to headhunters and all the rest of them. You understand? It's never based on me applying. Maybe like I said, everything is God. It's not me. You understand? God made things possible. That's number one. But
right, sir.
when I'm conversing and talking to people, it is the result, it is what I've done they are talking about. It's always the reference. You understand? So that is the fact of that. Let your results speak for itself. Make remarkable change. Like I always say, life is a rat race. Rat race in the sense that if you see rats running, they are running at the same time. What distinguishes an excellent rat is being different from the others. When you are walking, you ask yourself, if others are doing the same thing, what can I do differently that can project me? You understand? What can I do differently that can project me? If I had got into WAMCO and I just got complacent and I'm just driving it the way it is, you wouldn't have a factory, and a factory that is completely different from what it was 5 years ago.
No.
You understand? Because it was a whole lot of battle for me. I mean, Titi, you remember, to get all those money out. But God also worked for me, because when I was saying that this factory doesn't fit, things, I was looking for 5 million euro. It was a difficult thing. Eventually, I got easily 20 million euro, and look at what happened to the factory today. You understand? It's a completely different place. It's because I have that focus and purpose. And if we have not done what we did then, remember what I said, we, not me. If we have not done what we did then, how will the business survive today when there's competition, when there's Forex? When I was spending money on DDP, people thought I was crazy. You are spending money on DDP means Daily Development Program, which is now helping the business. People thought I was crazy. Why would you be spending, so much money on the malams to supply milk? I said, one day we will need this as raw materials to prove our relevance in this country. And believe it, in 2016, that test
I think
came.
This also explains that leaders must be futuristic. They must have
No,
that
you must
long.
always, that's actually where I'm going. You must be proactive. You must always look at what can happen. That is one of the points I wanted to make. You must understand your environment and international environment. Never shy away from current affairs, and never shy away from understanding what applies in different industries. Never lock yourself in and feel, this is my profession, I don't care about what goes on in finance. Anybody will tell you, I'll talk finance the same way an accountant will talk about it. Because I'm interested in how my budget is being spent. I'm interested in how money is being used. And when I'm not saving money because, Titi will tell you, I'm not saving money for the business because I want to deliver on the results. I'm saving money to regrow the business. So I learned that. When it comes to HR, people will tell you, I discuss HR issue more than, I actually changed the way people were being appraised than the way they were being appraised in the past. So it's about looking into the future and building it ahead of it. Because if you don't look at the future will catch up. The time will catch up with you. You are nowhere to be found.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You've said quite a lot. I have a full note, and I want to believe that everyone also is doing the same. Okay. One of it is that you have to stay positive and always believe that there is a way. You have to know why you are where you are. Don't just come because you want to earn 30 days, make one pay. Yeah. What value are you bringing to the table? And that really differentiates you from others. So, and that's quite key. So I have a question here, sir. There are some career limiting moves, what they are currently called CLM. So what is that one behavior or trait that you think that the mistake leaders make that actually derail them? You've seen a lot of people that are actually at the peak of almost at the peak of their career, and then they make that move. Because you talked about never being afraid to take risk, never be afraid to make that move. But I tell you for free, sir, there are some moves that are actually been a disaster. So what are the things you need to check? How do you see the other side to know if it's green or it's brown? What are those career limiting moves that we should not make as a young professional?
Let me be frank with you. I have a music I normally listen to. It's called My Way by Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. You understand? And now the end is here. And listen to it. You have to do things your way and own it. You understand? And own it. The only mistake you can make is never be caught on integrity, never ever leave your team unprotected. I mean, I fight for my team. I mean, even Titi can tell you some of the dirty fights.
Yeah.
You understand? I fight for my team. I
Don't throw people
protect
under
them.
the ball. Yeah.
Don't ever throw your team under the bus. If there's a mistake, you as the leader must own it. That is where the flight captain issue comes to be. When there's turbulence, you must come out and take ownership. Never said, no, it's my team, and start pointing at them. You are destroying yourself the moment you point at anybody that the mistake is from your team, because nobody will trust your leadership. But the moment you stand and fight, if it's going to cost you your job, somebody calls please.
I think someone, please, can you all be on mute, please? Thank you.
Charles is one Charles I can hear there also.
Yeah.
So you must never throw
you.
your team under the bus. You must always fight for them, because when you do that, that is when they believe in you, and that is when they can go extra mile for you. You understand? Did I make any mistake that way? I will not call it a mistake. Am I looking for loyalty? No. All I'm looking for was people to believe that, look, there's chance to make mistake, there's chance to get corrected. You understand? So those are the things I used to do. You can call it a mistake or not, but even I remember in those days when David Chat had come around and all those things, and he's trying to say this person. I said, this person, you don't know him, you don't work with the person. You understand? Don't listen to what some other people who comes from Europe tells you. I'm the one person working with this person, and that is the person I want for this role. And that was why I was able to localize the entire operation. At some point, when I got in, I had about 7 expatriates working in operation. By the time I was leaving, how many remained? Only Tobias 1. All the position of experts, I made sure they were occupied by locals.
Yeah.
And not locals from outside all the time. Locals from inside were grown into position. Do you understand? Do I call it a mistake? I don't think so. You understand? So that's one of the reasons I believe that it might, well, I'll be honest with you, it has that action alone. I can tell you today, I'm no longer in WAPCO, caused a lot of fight between me and them in Netherlands. And I can tell you that, but I was able to stand my ground, because what I found out then was that they were using Nigeria then as a dumping ground for somebody they don't want. And when those guys come, they come as if they're on holiday, and they live a different life compared. They actually stay away from work while they use it to do the work and earn all the money. And I stopped that. I mean, I got into WAMCO, some experts were bringing invoices of their weekend entertainment to my office. And they are not even director. And I said, even hi, director, I go to a Ikoyi club every day. I don't bring money for entertainment. I stopped it. No. I realized that these experts on Wednesdays, they always have a socials in Banana Island, costing the business over 250,000. I stopped it. And I made sure I localized the position over time. And every time the HR is calling me from Netherlands, look, we have this person, you must take accessory, there's no vacancy. I fought and I stood my ground. Do you call it a mistake? I don't know. But
no, but I think this is one thing you also did very well, because it's helped a lot of local, we call ourselves local by the way, but it helped a lot of nationals to be able to stand tall also, and also to build that confidence. It is not even in a matter of skin or whatever. We have smart people here in this country, and that you've been able to bring out. So I say very big thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. I have a question here. So Ebenezer Ajayi, thank you so much. Yeah, sure move to stand by, standing tall. Thank you for doing that. Yes, we have some people. So I have a question from Olatubosun. It says, good afternoon, sir. What do you do when you join a new organization and you find out that the culture is not what you stand for? Also, you are not in any position to change this. What do you do? By the way, I think you already even answered some of it, that if it doesn't fit, leave. But maybe I'll leave it to you to answer that. It's not my
Well,
question.
if you have the capacity to make a change within your domain, make that change. But as much as you can influence, do it. Do, even as a junior shop floor person, whatever you can do, do it. You may not be able to impact beyond yourself and others, but at some point, people will see the difference you are making. And if that difference is now being suppressed by your superiors and your superior's superior, then it's time for you to move. You may say, where is the opportunity to move to? Believe it, do your best, and make sure that you have a way of selling what you are doing. Things will come your way. Look, somebody told me one day that, look, working in an Indian company, I said, first and foremost, I don't know how hungry I will be that I'll join an Indian company. You understand? I mean, that's the fact, because we will fight from end to finish. One day, all of us will carry ourselves. Because I would never work in an environment where my voice, my action cannot speak for itself, or where my integrity will be compromised. That is the fact. You understand? So that kind of formed my opinion. I may be lucky, like I said earlier on, maybe God behind me with me, and that's why we pray every day, you know, in everything you do, leave things to God. But God helped me to fight for my belief in most of the times.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to believe that every one of us, we're picking a lot of lessons here. For someone like me, I pick this every day. I'm still very close to him. When I remember about 2 years ago that my career boat was rocking, and a lot of stones were being thrown. I remember running back to him and say, "Hey, Oga, wala wow," and he was able to say, "Hey, don't mind them. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do." And today, yes, now we are all smiling.
I was actually on holiday. It was January 20. I was on holiday when you were acting for me, and I told you, don't worry. When I come back, I will sort everything out. And I even told you, don't even discuss about it again. And that was it.
That's really great.
And today, I think I can look back to say, yes, fantastic. With the role I have today, it's probably my 5-year ambition role. So this is also something very, very significant. And this has to do, I'm saying this because relationship matters. A lot of people have grown so that wink beyond their boss that they've always believed that their boss does not have their back. Your boss has a lot in his head as well. If your boss, a lot of people have made their boss their enemies well enough that they have become their own devil. Because when you do not, if you do not believe in your boss, and you do not drive the ambition of your boss, trust me, that is the beginning of your failure. Your boss could be making some mistakes, but it is up to you and your boss to have a discussion. I remember I've had it to even walk up into OD's office and say, "Hey, this thing you're asking us to do, I don't think we should do it this way. This is how I think we should do it." If I had gone out there and say, "Hey, look at what that man told me now, he said I should do this," and publicly, or going behind him to say a lot of things, that is actually the end of your career. So I think a lot of people
to get back to your boss, the one thing you must realize is that I always tell people two things. You can only choose who will work for you as a subordinate. You can never choose your boss. Workplace is not a political place where you vote for who will be your boss. You can never choose who will become your boss. You can only choose who will be your subordinate. So when you go out there and start talking about your boss, some people sees it as an opportunity to also get popular with that boss. They will listen to you, they will contribute to that conversation. But they will come back to that boss and only highlight what you said, not what they said.
That's honestly.
So whatever you cannot say in the presence of your boss, don't discuss it with anybody.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say it, because the person you are sharing the information with, if you are unlucky, may come back to the boss and tell the boss, this is what Lagbaja said about you, this is what he said about you. But the person would never have his own contribution.
This 10 years is likely to be now, so we have to book flights for people.
In fact, can you mute that person also?
Amaka.
Yes, ma'am.
So always
Amaka,
realize that
you.
workplace is a political place that you must not play politics in. People try to do that. People, at times, some leaders believe that popularity is about how many people likes them. But most of the people that claiming that they like you are popular, behind you, they are actually just wishing that you get out of their life. You understand?
That's true.
But when
That's
you
true.
believe in people and you help their career growth, you support them, you make them realize that this is what is important for me. I always tell people, time waits for nobody. Look at yourself and chart your career path. At what age do I want to become this? At what age do I want to become this? Because as you are wasting time thinking that things will come your way, believe it, these days, younger people are coming faster and far ahead of you. So don't get into the politics of thinking of complacency. That is part of the problem.
Great. Thank you, sir. Fantastic. I have a question here from Sadiq Odetunde. Sadiq says, it is believed that some positions can't be attained if you don't have a degree from the Ivy League. What advice do you also, if you don't go to Oxford or you go to, okay, let's come local as well. If you don't go to all those private universities, well, what advice can you give on this? And you also do not have that much money to get those degrees. So let me paraphrase this, okay? Roles, some people believe that yes, for you to actually be in senior management roles, you must have 7 masters, you must finish from Oxford
Don't go too far,
University.
Titi. Titi, don't go too far. It's waste of time. Believe it. Going to school is knowledge. No knowledge is wasted. But don't go to school because you think that is what you need to get to the next level. You understand? You go to school because you need to handle knowledge. Getting to the next level, go and earn the PhD. Who will be your CEO? May just be a what's it called? A first degree holder.
First
You
degree
understand?
holder. Yeah.
So it is not going to school for promotion. It's going to school to build on knowledge. So you have to separate the two. Then going to Ivy League and all those sort of places, I mean, how many of them have gotten into, apart from maybe where they believe in mediocrity also? You understand? The only advantage it can give you is that maybe in the environment where you are seeking for a job, maybe we are in US or something. I don't have a US education and I'm working here in one of the top organizations. You can check out the profile. You understand? So it is you, it is what you have delivered that makes that difference. It is your track record that makes that difference. It is not the amount of masters in you have here and there or PhDs you have that delivers you. To grow in an organization is what are your results? What have you delivered? For every job, there are metrics that are being looked at to determine what is next for you. If those metrics are not met, believe it, you are just part of the passenger. You will never be the driver, you will never be the conductor. So it is not necessarily
Thank you very much, sir.
Harvard degrees and all those things only. They may open the way for you. Let me also be clear about this. At the entry level, you need a degree that qualifies you from others. You understand? But the moment you are now in the organization, it is no longer, I want to go and do executive this, executive that. It can only help with network anyway. That's another thing. You may have friends in far and wide places. That network may become useful tomorrow, but it is not for internal promotion.
I'm happy you mentioned network, sir. And a lot of people actually talk about networking. Some even misconstrue networking for lobbying. Okay, a lot of people are talking about this.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
A lot of people are misconstrued networking for lobbying. So when you're lobbying for roles or lobbying for things, I say, okay, yeah, I want to network with these people. I want to network with that. What, in your own words, sir, when we're talking about mentoring and getting a sponsor at work for us to climb that ladder to make a progress in our career, we know, yes, that mentoring, networking, all this also they're quite interrelated, but they require different approaches, by the way. So in what modest way do you think one can network with peers, colleagues, and even senior colleagues, or being mentored by superior colleagues that will help us in the climbing of this ladder and will not make us look overly ambitious? So, for example, if I want to come to you and I tell you exactly what I want to be in the next 2-3 years, some leaders have actually made it look like, oh, what's this one? You're just coming into this business and you're talking about 2-3 years. Oh, you're too ambitious. You're too that. So, how can you? What's the fine lining between all this networking, getting a mentor, or actually being too ambitious?
Yeah, that's a very good one also. Excuse me. Number one, let's separate networking and mentoring. They are two different things. Networking can be misconstrued to also be political. Mentoring
Yes.
is about being somebody putting a mirror in front of you. You know, at times you think you are the best, but or you're looking good. Let's look at the way things are. You dress up, you think you are good. But by the time a mirror is placed in front of you, then you know that you are not looking good. There are some things that you need to touch up. You understand? That is what mentoring is about. And the essence of the mirror is that the person is trying to give you a feedback of what you don't see about yourself. You understand? The essence of it is to make sure that, look, how open are you to those feedback also? Not many people love to receive feedback. So when you go to your boss or your colleague or something, and the person gives you feedback, how do you come out of the room? Do you take it positively or you reject it? Or you think the person is indicting you? It is an opportunity for you to improve. It is an opportunity for you to realize that there's nobody that is perfect. You need at times as blunt language as possible for you to get jolted. You know, I always give easy example to people, Newton's second law of motion. Every object will remain in a state of rest or uniform motion unless an external unbalanced force is applied. We all get comfortable, complacent. Unless something happens, that is when we get jolted. So you need to realize that mentoring at times help you to realize that the areas where you think you are the best, you're actually not a non-starter. Does that help? Then networking is about meeting people of like minds. Meeting people of like minds also help you because you learn from interactions. You learn from discussions. You understand? You sit down with someone, even if it is political talk they are having, join them. If it is economic talk they are having, join them. It is just information you get that help me, for instance, in my business management, business thinking. Because when I'm networking with people, I'm learning from them, I'm learning from their industries, I'm learning from their own personal perspective of things. If I just believe, and when you're networking, network both, you network vertical and lateral like a cross. What I mean, network with people on top, network with people below, network with people at your level. It's like a cross. Don't network only with people on top because on the long run, you will miss the opportunity of knowing what others are feeling below. You miss the opportunity of also identifying the opportunities below you. And when you network laterally, you also understand what your peers are feeling and how your peers are doing it. You understand? So professional networking is very good. Social networking, I'm not a party person. Everybody knows that. Social networking I do is golfing. And of course, I hang out at the bars and all those things. But I'm not a social person that goes to Sunday Ade. It's my own character. I'm not that kind of outward person. I even don't like to be heard of socially. I would rather love to be heard of about my contribution in my profession than what I've done in. That's why you won't see my name in all those social magazines in Nigeria. You understand? So separate mentoring from networking. Mentoring, both of them are good and they are very strong tools. But I believe more, and that's the essence of the one-on-one I used to have with my team members at skip level, like I explained earlier on. I do the one-on-one with my team members. I understand what they are going through. I meet I do the skip level chat with their subordinates, and it works because I'm able to see where my direct reports need to be polished without telling them this is the feedback I got from somewhere else. So those are the things. like I said, just simple example, mentoring is like putting a mirror in your face. And coaching is also different. Coaching is about somebody telling you, okay, I'm hand-holding you, do it this way, this. I mean, we watch the coach, what they do in sports and all the rest of them. But mentoring is a strong tool. Networking, do it in a cross, up, down, and vertical. And lateral. Hello?
Hello, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, we can hear you. Titi.
Maybe Nepal
Hello,
taking his light
Titi.
in Cote d'Ivoire.
Titi has
No,
never
no,
taken
no.
your light.
Hey, NEPA don't take lights here. I don't know what went wrong. A call came in and it's kicked me out. Also on Zoom. I don't know why. All right, sorry about that. Thank you very much, sir. I see that a couple of people in the audience want to ask some questions. So, Esther, can you please unmute Harriet? She has a question. Harriet, please go ahead. Okay, if Harriet is not there, Larry, I can see you raise your hand as well. Oh, Larry Atoyebi. Please go ahead with your question.
All unmuted. Okay.
Yes, I've been raising my hand since. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry. Yes, I can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Please go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that's really been an eye opener. And one thing I like so much is that it's a no holds barred session. You have really empty your heart, and then you've poured quite a lot on us. So we want to appreciate the counsel and then also the confidence because most of the times these things we are hearing, they are what you want to do, but if you don't have pragmatic examples of people who have done it before, you might not have such boldness. So my question is this, in the event that somebody is in a career that the person does not really like, because of economic situation, you just want to put up with a career, and then you want to move you want to make an unrelated career move. For example, you want to move from, let's say, human resources to supply chain. What steps will you advise for such kind of moves? How can the person actualize such move when you are moving? Let's say if from sales to marketing is still commercial, maybe a bit of related, but when it comes to unrelated career move for somebody who has already put in quite a number of years in the career, let's say you want to move from a human resource business partner to the procurement manager or something in operations, how do you suggest the person can go about this?
Yeah, thanks. The first thing is that, like I always advise people, all your growth in an organization doesn't necessarily to be vertical, that is by promotion. Your growth in an organization can also be lateral, that is by doing a cross-functional assignment, which is very good. The first thing you want to do, let's say you want to move from HR to marketing. What interest have you shown in marketing? Have you kind of volunteer yourself? Start with volunteering in taking some cross-functional assignments, or you go onto market visit with your colleague or something. Let them see that you are interested in it. Nobody will just look at your face and say, oh, this guy, you look good for HR, or this guy, you look good for accounts or something. Of course, finance, you need the financial background. You understand? And the point there is that you must show interest. Interest that you also need to be careful not to make it look as if, like at some point in WAMCO there, some people feel that if you don't go to marketing, you don't belong. You understand? But by the time we turn things around, everybody wants to come to operation. You understand? So the main thing is that you must show interest in where you go, where you want to go. And it's always not a bad thing to have a cross-functional exposure, because it tells you learn more, not only about the organization, you learn more across. Okay. But the first thing is that be involved, be ready to volunteer, be ready to do cross-functional assignments. It is from there people will identify your skill in doing the job. You just don't move because, oh, I love people that are in this department, they are this, they are that. If you do that, you are moving for wrong reason. You must move because there's a passion and there's an interest. And how you negotiate it is by being involved in the activities and being involved in any assignment that relates to them. That gives the visibility. And also the last part of it is always discuss it as part of your, if you have opportunity of having one-on-one with your boss or having opportunity during your career performance conversation, always discuss it. But even the other department you want to go to must see that this person that is coming or interested in us is somebody that can deliver, not somebody that is coming just to become part of the crowd. I would not want to take anybody that is just coming to be part of a crowd because you like my department. No, I'm bringing you in because I see some talents in you, and that works for me. Because it's all about, why will I bring somebody in that is not going to add value to me? Just because you like my department? No. I want to be sure that you will add value, and you must have started showing the interest in the way you interact with us, the way you support, and all those sort of things.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much,
Hello,
sir. Yes.
Sorry, I don't know if I could just follow on what Mr. Ashiru said, just a thought on what he said for
30
a
seconds.
bit of more clarification. Okay, thank you so much. So, sir, just like you mentioned, people say it almost everywhere that it seems commercial people are unduly favored when it comes to perks and compensation in multinationals, maybe official car and a couple of things, and that's why many people want to move to sales and marketing. So, is this really true?
That's not true, because if you go to sales and marketing also, yes, maybe that for some people who are lazy, because you go to sales and marketing, you feel that you have more time to do your MBA or all those things because you're always on the field. It catches up with you with time. Those cars you see they are driving is also not easy for those people, especially if you are working in somewhere like Lagos. Imagine you have a target also to deliver and you are driving all the time in that bad traffic. By the time you get home also, it affects your work-life balance. So people need to understand what is involved in every job they are moving to. You understand? Don't look at the perks of the job. That's moving also for wrong reason. If you're looking at the perks of the job, that means you've lost your purpose. You've also not going to get your focus. So those two things are very important in whatever you do. So if the purpose of me moving to any department is because of the car I'm going to get or the luxury of it, for that car you're getting, there's a target behind it. And you have to drive that target, but what are you going to sacrifice to get that target? Have you thought of that? You understand? And have you also thought of the impact on the home front also? Because by the time you get home, you are fagged out. And the same target, because of the car you have, you didn't achieve it. As soon they will bounce you out because you're going there for a wrong purpose.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. That was I don't think any other answer can be better than that. Okay, great. Arret, are you ready now for your question? I can see you raise your hand.
I'm ready.
Great. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yes, Harriet, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, it's like you have a mirror into my heart. You're just saying everything. I don't know. Thank you, sir. Yes, I have a question that says, people have often been overlooked for promotion despite being obviously competent. When faced with two equally qualified candidates, how do you determine whom to hire?
I said it before, workplace is just like life with a rat race. What have you done differently? You all have the same target performance metrics that you are being judged on. Yes, the two of you are seen as both, let me put it this way, high flyers or something. But there's only one person that will get a job. The difference is that what are the qualifying factors? Do you understand it? Because oftentimes we always blame the system for not promoting us. You understand? But what are the qualifying factors for the next job? Do you have that competence? Because it's also about being proactive. You want to become let's say, I don't know which function we will work. Let's say you work in marketing, become a marketing manager. That is, you have to lead the brand managers or something. Would you even understand what the brand manager's job will be before you can become their boss? Because you have to be good at the job, not good. You have to be professionally good at the job of your subordinates before you become their leader. So the question there is that I may be wrong also, because yes, let's assume we move into another function area. There's an attribute that they are looking for, but what have you done to distinguish yourself? And of course, I cannot take away the element of luck also. You understand? Because at times the leaders get so confused and they toss, I'm not saying they toss the coin or gamble on people's career. They look at it that, okay, at that point in time, there's a lot of conversations. And one thing I need to tell you, at least from Ramco, Unilever, and all the rest of them, is this: there's no movement or promotion that happen, at least at management level, without it being discussed at the, what's it called, annual and I've forgotten the language you use over there, at the performance discussions, where people are looked at. And that is when I said that you are not there when you are being discussed. So it's not about politics. It's not about how you are viewed. It's about what you are delivering. Because the people that will eventually determine your career are looking at you exceptionally. Visibility is also good. Visibility must be due to the work. It is not due to politics. Oh, Augusta, I'd agree to. You understand? It's also wrong. It's about visibility, like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about cross-functional. Have you try to work with even sales if you are in marketing? Or have you worked with operation even so that even the operation director can make a positive input? Because I'll be honest with you, I've sat in those meetings most times and they are asking me, what's your contribution to this person? And I said, sorry, I don't know the person. And the person, I mean, the HR will then say, then we cannot do anything about this person if he has to be connected with your job. I don't know the person, not because the person has not come to my house to knock on the door, come to my office to greet me. It's because I'm not seeing the connection between the person and my team. So if you have to, if you have to be promoted for a job that will be linked with operation or any function, you must be visible and be seen as part of it. So it's not only about delivering on your results, but also the visibility. Not, I keep saying, not the political visibility. It is about following passion for others.
Thank you,
So
sir.
much, sir. Thank you
But by
very
the
much.
way, in the banking industry and all the rest of them that doesn't have, let me be clear, in some other industries, is about, all sort of things that goes behind it. But I'm talking of multinational where there are set rules and guidance. Also, most of the things I'm saying is based on organization where there is head and tail, not organization where anything can happen. You know what I mean? You work in banking industry, or you work in a one-man business, or an Indian man business, or a business that doesn't have any ethics or
some sort of lack structure.
You may even have a CEO that will support you because you're able to help him forge documents and all those things. I'm not talking about those ones. I'm talking about organizations which has reputation. So get the context of, I'm talking about the organizations I've worked with that had reputations, not those other kind of organizations.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like you to just add this to that question. Someone says here on the chat, said, in an organization where it seems like you're tired of being in a particular department and it feels you're just doing the same thing always, and you're feeling redundant. I don't know if you're actually feeling redundant or you are redundant. Maybe that person can clarify. She said, is it the right time to move? When you get that feeling of being redundant, is that the right time to move?
There's no better time than that. Trust me.
But I want to throw a twist at this.
Why I said,
must you wait till then?
That's why I said that you've done about 3 years on a job. You start asking yourself, what is next for me? You understand? You and I had a similar conversation before.
Yes.
And I told you, you're already becoming too much of an expert here. Do distribution. Was it a nice conversation? You understand? But when you now, with the eyesight of what happened then, and now with what you are doing, How do you feel it?
Let me bust your bubble, sir. And you know, in
PT,
my
the director.
first in my current role now, you know, the first thing when I was having discussion around this is, okay, you've done this, you've done this. In this role, you must actually have done distribution. I said, of course, yes. So if I had actually felt, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to listen to you at that time. I don't want to do distribution because more or less distribution as at that time was a bit lower, kind of, than what I was handling.
But what did you do
Yeah,
differently? You took the profile of distribution up.
that's it.
You understand? That is actually people lifting the profile of their job. It's also your responsibility to make your job from where it is to something higher that people see value in it. You understand? You took it because you felt, oh, distribution and warehousing is something. But what did you do? You changed the tone of distribution and it became something else completely. And that was one of your success as well.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you point blank, it earned you the move because when we were discussing about the Ivory Coast job, and I told them, I said, look, this guy is the one that can do this because Ivory Coast job was more of the distribution because of the countries that were there.
That were involved.
Nobody could say no. You understand? But
Right.
if we are looking at you only from planning perspective, I mean, several people can do planning. But you're able to bring the two heads together into one.
Thank you very much, sir.
So there is a hand here, Layoa. Who is that
Layoa,
person?
okay. Okay, Layoa, please come after me. Before Layoa, I have a very interesting twist here. Someone says sacrifice the currency of exchange on the target. Where's that? That's good. Okay, workplace promotion guidelines depends on the industry. Some won't promote a staff who meets the criteria, but they are on approved leave. The appointment and promotions committee decides. I'm not sure if I get fully what you meant there, but I want to create this scenario. A lot of people have become so, in quotes, experts in their role. And I have someone, I'm not going to mention his name, is a lot of us actually know this particular person, who had created that that kingdom around himself that is not able to develop others and is not able to let go. And that has cost that person several years of standstill. Business, you feel business is holding on to you, but you were the one holding on to yourself because you were not ready to develop others or show others what you're doing. This has also, in my own view, has been a limiting factor to a lot of people growing in their career. What other things do you have to say to that, sir?
Yeah, thanks, Titi. That's a very good point. I said it earlier on. It's only an insecure leader who doesn't believe in his own growth will not grow his subordinate. When you grow your subordinate, you must, as a leader, the moment you get on a job, the first question you ask yourself is this: who will succeed me? Don't look at it that the person is Jesus that has not been born. The moment you feel that, look, who will succeed me? Then you start identifying the right person. You've seen that even when I left Unilever and when I left WAMCO, every of my position I was succeeded by my subordinates, whom I identified internally and grew internally. Because the first thing is that you must make sure that you have, if you don't grow people, you yourself will become complacent, you become insecure. And at some point, when you spend too much time on a job, even as a director, let's be blunt on ourselves, you spend too much time as a director, more than 4 or 5 years. The question you ask yourself is that, what is next for me? That means you're only there earning income. You're not adding value. Because again, your subordinates have grown to an extent where they now feel that if this man don't move, I cannot be promoted. Then what happened? They start looking out and they start poaching them. The moment they start poaching your subordinates, you are losing your structure. Then for every new one that comes in, they get the history of why the other people comes in. So they start saying, yeah, I've joined the wrong boss. You understand? So on the long run, as a leader, the day you get on a job, start planning your exit for the next job. Never feel complacent about it, because the day you'll be walked out of the job, it will be a bit humiliating, it will be a bit uncomfortable. Like I told you earlier on, when I met an organization of a cone, not a pyramid, how do those people who have spent 45 years in WAMCO feel when I was giving them letter in December 2015? Because they knew no life other than the place, and they felt it was the best place for them to work.
Yeah.
You understand? And the whole thing eventually changed from cone to pyramid, and to the extent that as at the time I moved in 2019, I was the oldest person in operation. From being somebody in the mid, because I have people who were even doctoring their age. So you must realize that you must be ready to move at any point in time.
Thank you, sir. And to add to that, I think we all need to be intentional about our career as well. Know where you want to be. I remember the conversations we've had at that time. I remember walking to your office and you asked me in one of the one-to-one, what do you want? I said, I want an international exposure again. And you're like, okay. I remember you pushed so hard. I got an international assignment in Netherlands, but eventually still did not go for better reasons. Yeah, but I think this is what every one of us here listening to me also and listening to Doyin here today need to do for ourselves. Don't wait for the time your boss will call you and say, yes, what is it about your career? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? You should be the one going to your boss also and saying, yes, this is what I want to do. And just before Laola come, I also remember, Odi, you know, Pinekete. I remember when I was doing MRP and I needed exposure in demand planning, I simply walked up to him and I said, I want to do demand planning because I knew where I was going. I knew who I want to be in life. I knew I want to become an experienced supply chain all around. And I knew what I wanted and I went for it. And I remember I also went into his office a particular day and I said, I want an international assignment. He looked at me and said, who will do your job as a demand planning manager at that time? And that struck a bell in me. And I started looking for someone to fit. The day I was able to get a standard replacement, I woke up to him again. We made a deal. I said, give me 6 months. I'm going to develop this person. If I do, will you give me this international assignment? And I know it never meant it. He actually, you know, the way he talks, hey, my friend, leave this place. Okay, go do it. But I knew it. And I went back to my desk. I wrote him a mail, as just discussed, sir. If I could do this in another 6 months, this is an opportunity for me. And that was it. In another 6 months, I went up to him again. Then I got the international assignment in South Africa. So I think we need to be very, very intentional about our career. Don't just leave it in the hands of your boss, but go for it. Know what you want. Be determined. Be intentional. Be prayerful. Then definitely you will achieve that. Layoha. I'm not sure if you're ready now. Are you? If you meant probably.
Okay. It is Layo. The A is the initial for the surname. Hi, it's Layo. I don't know. It was meant to come up as Shakira, but it came up as Layo, which is also my name. So I don't know what happened. So I'm Layo. Nice to meet you, Titi and Mr. Doyin. I've been enjoying your conversation also. And I live in the UK, so it's quite different for me. And I'm happy you are abroad as well. But you know, there's something about, will I say racial profiling, you know, when it comes to promotions or even getting the job in the first place. Because I know you talk about, you know, getting your skills right, you know, knowing what you want and things like that. But in some cases in my environment, it's not so much sometimes what you do, but like I put in the post in the comment section, like favorism, you know, when they just feel like they want this person or they feel this person fits into it. Because even before now, there are several interviews that I'd gone to, and I know like I did it, you know, like, you know, you killed it. And at the end of the day, they can't really say this is why you didn't fit into the role, but they just say things like, they don't feel you're the right fit for the organization. Do you know? So, and I've had, it's not just me, I've had several other friends of mine that things like that have happened to. And even when you're within the organization and you want to apply for a senior role and things like that, there's one excuse why they feel you shouldn't apply. Or even if you apply, there's a way they do it that the moment you talk to your boss about even applying, They will just open the application for like a short period of time and boom, they've closed it because they know who they want to put in that position already. So
Okay.
I don't know if you know where I'm coming from.
I know where you're coming from and I know where you're going to. The first thing is this, like you said, you're working in UK now, fine. The first thing is that when you want to work in UK, it depends on what circumstances took you to the UK. What immigrant status you have. That's the first thing. Let's get it right. In these days, no organization wants to file for you. Even in US, nobody wants to file for you.
No, I'm talking about people that have their papers, like
they have their papers. No,
yeah,
no.
exactly.
I'm just clarifying.
So you are British citizens, so it's not like they need to do anything for you.
Yeah, the first thing I think that you need to get right is that how much of their culture, working culture, have you embedded yourself into? That's the first thing. And the people you get into UK, the first thing you want is that you want the same job that pays you the same thing without initially, well, not everybody is as lucky as I am, let me put it that way. But what I always tell people that ask me the same question is that, what have you contributed internally in terms of volunteering jobs? In terms of even taking a job that you feel is lower than you just to earn the experience?
Yes.
You understand?
Sorry to cut you short. Yeah. You won't believe that initially I've done a job, worked with the council as a business support, thingy.
But is the council the same as a private entity?
No. But no, I want to say that same council, I applied for the same role and I didn't get it.
Yeah, but don't forget that council will not operate as a business entity. And like I said earlier on, most of the things I'm saying affects private organization. A council also have a political interest, community interest to look after. You understand? So a council still have element of political management and community interest to do, which is different from when you are in a private organization. So, and unfortunately, I've never worked directly in much of a government organization, so I don't know how that politics work well. You understand? But if I look at what you're saying, working in a council, getting a job, getting promotion, there are a lot of political interest and also community interest about it that you need to understand.
Yeah, but this in the private, okay, the council, the NHS, we categorize that as the government parastatal, so which the same rule apply. But even in the private sector,
because of the
color of your skin,
you see,
you don't think that is why where I really want you to clarify.
I'm not going to clarify based on
in that.
Let me put it this way. I think UK is also as good as US. The first thing is about diversity. Every country talks about diversity, and they look at your brain and they look at your character to give you a job. And like I told you earlier on, I mentioned earlier on, every organization don't want mediocres or the mediocrities. They want people that wants to deliver. They want people that wants to help them grow. What are you bringing to the party? That is the question. So when they are talking to you, they are looking at a lot of things. And that's why you now see some of the interview sessions now, including some of these, I've forgotten how they call it, where they try to do your reasoning and all those sort of tests. Because they want to understand, they want to understand aptitude test and caliper assessment.
Exactly.
They want to understand your leader, not only your culture, adaptability, and all those things. That is why they incorporate it in US, in UK. I'm sure they do that. If you cannot pass their caliper assessment as well as because it actually brings who you are out. So it's no longer a matter of your qualification or you did very well in the interview. That's your own thinking. But did you pass that simple test?
You mean the personality test?
Personality test assessment. And it is something they use in looking at the fit, your fit into the organization. Even in Freestyle Campaigner, we call it MBTI and all those sort of things, whereby you have to assess people that, okay, if you have ESTJ, everybody in your organization, in your department being ESTJ, that means everybody will be on their neck all the time. Or you have this.
Personality profile.
Because when we are bringing people into organization, you already look at the profile of those who are there. You want to avoid that the next person that is coming in is not coming to create
Yeah.
a majority of a particular profile.
Yeah.
You understand?
Pressure.
So
Yeah.
those are the kind of characters that are part of what determines job. So when you're working in a different culture, you must understand that that culture will first look at you. I'm not going to talk because you are black, that your adaptability to the work environment. And that is one of the things I say, tell people, when you have those sort of caliber assessment, if you have the opportunity of doing it out of the interview space, or even if it's going to be part of the interview, do a lot of practice of it and get a lot of your profile information. Don't wait until the interview day and you just think that after it's not something of calculation. It's, you may think that, oh, if you have to meet this person, how do you do? You know, all those questions. You think it's that they are actually very useful information for employers because they want to see your fit into their organization. You understand? It is no longer about, oh, they asked me about what am I doing before and I passed it. And they asked me about this, and so I don't see any reason. That caliper assessment makes a lot of difference. Trust me.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry,
I think you nailed it. Lion, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
No, let that go ahead. Let that go ahead. I'm listening.
No, so what I'm saying is, if when you are even within the organization now, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to progression,
when you are within the organization, I've said it several times. What have you done differently? Are you just complaining like every other person? And they don't favor me. They don't favor me. Hey, you didn't favor yourself. Sorry. My boss don't like me. My boss don't like me. What have you done to your boss that makes your boss to believe that this is somebody that I can tie my success onto? I've said it before. Your boss is your boss because he believes that you can help him to grow. Your boss wants to grow. And like the question Titi mentioned earlier on, mentioned earlier on, that what in a situation where the boss itself doesn't want to grow, go anywhere, is lacking confidence, he kills people, then people jump out of the ship into the other organization.
Yeah.
So if your boss don't like you, don't waste time. You understand? Look at what other place you can fit in. But when the boss starts losing good people, at the end of the day, the boss itself will lose his job.
And to add to that, sir, I think it doesn't have, you don't have to wait until the time when there's an opening in your organization. There's what you call succession planning.
Exactly.
And now, Doyin mentioned that, yes, he has one-on-one with his subordinates and even skip level subordinates. You as an employee, you should have this kind of conversation with your boss as well. You should already know, okay, you should have your short-term plan, medium-term plan, and long-term plan. In the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, what are the opportunities available for you in this organization? 1, 2, or 3. So when there's an opportunity in that area of your interest, which you've identified and aligned with your boss, it makes the work so easy. So I'm going to use myself as another example. In the last, I moved out of WAMCO about 14 months ago. And in 14 months, I've done 3 roles. Why? Because every time I'm going into the next role, I'm already talking about my next. I'm already going with my boss and say, yeah, what can we do? So about 6 months ago, I had this conversation with my boss, and he told me, yes, he's an expatriate. So he has a contract which will end by the end of 2021. And we had this conversation and said, okay, I would like you to have your job. And he smiled and said, yes, what do I need to step into your role in another 1.5 years? And we started working on that plan. And do you know what? 4 months down the line, something happens in another organization and they need my boss. And that was how he was pulled out. It was easy for him to have me fill into his role because we've been having this conversation. And please don't forget this. You can only have one person on a seat. So you want to move into the role of supply chain director. There are 184 other people in that space, but you only have one seat. So what qualifies you to become that one person? You say, yes, you go into an interview and you know that you killed it. Yes, you may say you killed it. Mindset-wise, did you kill it? They're looking for a leader. They're not looking for someone who is operational. Did you kill it? They're looking for someone who is adaptable. Did you kill it? They're looking for someone who has a mindset of money making. Did you kill it? So those are the things, if you're able to check all those, you will go into an interview and come out of that interview with the confidence you know you've gotten this job. So it's up to us. I know it doesn't sound like ABC, it doesn't look that easy, but let's start. Let's begin to understand the money-making matters of our business. Let's begin to understand where we want to be intentional about it. Have a clear alignment with your manager, and document it. Document it. That is very, very important. I know you may say a lot of organizations do not stick to their words. Well, that tells you again what kind of organization you're working for or you're working with. Sorry, it's not my show. Yeah. All right, great. Do we still have more questions? We've done 2 hours already. I think it's high time we call it a day, but let me check. I think there's a question from Kelly. What do you do when the role you desire in an organization requires or favors individual with longer years experience, but you are much younger? Can you share some tips on what a young professional can do to meet with such a challenge, knowing that most likely your competitors for such role has a higher year of experience? I don't know if you want to go there, but I also have a clear example.
No, go ahead. Use your example because it might help me more there. Because for me,
So
it's not about experience, like I always say. It's about, can you really deliver what I need? At times, it's not, things are changing so fast now that you need, what's it called? You deal more with technology, you deal more with intellectual capability than experience. Why will I need somebody with 20 years experience for a job that I can get a 5 years experience for? Because there has to be openness in the mindset, you understand? And well, I will recruit anybody as long as I have a positive conversation with the person. Because if you are looking at it, if we have to profile a job, a director's job in those days will tell you that it's about 20 years experience or 25 years experience or something. But do I need that? You don't have people less than 10 years, they're able to move like a playing draft into position. It is about what cross-functional job have you done, even within the same department, within the same function, what cross-functional job have you done that distinguish you? If you are in operation, you've done planning, you've done quality, safety, you've done manufacturing, you've done distribution, you've done planning. You move about 4 or 5 different functions, then what stops you from becoming a supply chain director? So it's not until you spend 25 years to become.
Exactly. And that takes me into what is experience. For me, experience is not the number of years. Experience, what Doyin just mentioned now, it's about the parallel knowledge that you've gotten. Exactly. If I may have to burst a bubble, I've only spent less than 6 years in Freestone Campina. And today, I lead the country, I lead 42 countries. All the people that report to me in those countries, they have higher numbers of years of experience than I do. I'm coming into this position with the least years of experience in Freestone Campina. So it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the numbers of years. It is a function of, yes, you're coming as a supply chain director. What do you know about finance? A lot of us today, when we are having an end of the year conversation, you're only sticking to your objective. Some companies say 3+1. Some companies says performance, whatever. You're only sticking to that. I have delivered this. This is what I agree with my boss at the beginning of the year. Then I have delivered it. What else have you done differently? Can you go into the finance space and talk about P&L? Can you go into marketing space and talk about brand building? Can you go into operation space and talk about, today I'm talking about FAT. I read engineering, but I don't even know how to fix a bulb anymore. But what? I understand almost everything that is going in that space. It's about knowing a little about everything, not knowing everything about a little. And that is the mistake a lot of people are making today. When I see you in an organization and you've done 30 years as a planner, I look at you, I will never depend on you. You tell me, yes, 30 years experience, I'm now a material planner. My friend, you've just wasted 30 years. That is it. So experience is not,
absolutely.
It's not about the growth. I always miss this vertical. Okay, horizontally. This horizontal, vertical.
No, vertical and horizontal.
It's not about your growth vertically. It's actually your horizon. How well have you broadened your horizon? How well are you grounded in the business? Organizations are looking for business manager, not functional managers.
Functional managers.
Doyin will not be where he is today if he's just a supply chain expert. No. You will not grow beyond your circle if you remain in that circle of convenience. You need to stretch yourself. You need to move out. You're going for an interview as a marketing manager. Don't go for the interview based on your marketing knowledge. Understand sales.
Experience alone. Yes.
Understand supply chain. How do they connect?
Mm.
The overall business objective is connecting the dots. That is it. Not working in silos. They're not looking for someone who will work in silos. This is not the show for it. Let's.
let me
So I was just
give
going
you
to latch on
another example.
Okay.
Let me give you
Please
another
go
example. This is a practical one. There was going to be a vacancy in HR in Netherlands, and I knew about it. And I wanted my HR business partner to take that job because the job will be HR business partner to my boss in Netherlands. You know what I did? I sent my HR business partner to act as the plant manager for EVAP for a month. I deliberately sent the EVAP manager out on leave, and my HR business partner became the plant manager there. So when she was now being invited for the interview, she was able to communicate in a supply chain and plant way, and that helped her. So how many times are you ready to volunteer for a job different from the job you are doing? So if she had not done that plant job, she wouldn't have gotten that 1 year opportunity she had in Netherlands.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. That's another, I think if you need to look
yes,
for...
I was just going to give an example, maybe a bit about myself. Well, just to buttress what Titi had rightly said about knowing some bits about everything. We could actually say I started my career in, we have a number of people too who you can call medical sales representative. And of course, I grew through the ranks and all of that. Did I hear someone, take a pause or something? Okay, I guess I'm speaking some people's, but I guess I grew through the ranks, from being a regional manager, also went into brand management at some point, and, have some bit of the commercial knowledge up to when I became some sort of like a country sales manager within that same function. Right now, what am I doing? I'm in a completely different angle, which is now I'm adding not the media, so which is still mainstream media and also digital media. So that's from the TV, the radio, the print, up until digital media. Ask me, how did I make that move? I think that's talk for another day. So it's about, self-development and knowing some bit, developing yourself, knowing some bit. While you're doing your job, you shouldn't take your eyes off what other people are doing. You can ask questions, you can, jump in at some point and, understand the workings of things.
Absolutely.
So that's just to drop in.
Thanks, I always tell people, go to work with your ears, with your eyes,
Sorry, they are working on my lawn, so it's a bit of a noise at the background in my lawn.
Yeah, and I think we've done a lot. We may be able to wrap up the show here. Acho says, I've been richly equipped.
Please don't wrap up yet, please.
Okay.
Please, I have one question.
Whatever we do, I'm going to play golf and I must leave home in the next, I still have about 1 hour to go.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Larry, go quickly.
Okay, so, Odisa, people have said that.
I'm not OD, I'm
when
doing...
it comes to the...
It's no longer
I've
OD.
left the job even the last of the Friesland cabinet was, as at April, I've left Friesland cabinet, so I'm no longer OD. And I always tell people that one thing you must always realize is this: your position in a corporate environment is only within that fence of that environment. The moment you step out of that fence, you are no longer in that position. And that must be your relationship with people. The only job where your position takes you outside the job is when you're in the military. That is when they will still refer to you as a general or as a this and that. But if you are working in a corporate environment, the day you leave that environment, or even outside, even on daily basis, the moment you are outside, that title is over. So always realize that the position you have and your title is only confined to the space where you are working, except you are in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Larry, go on quickly.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, so I've heard people say that, of course, it's a general knowledge that when you move up the ladder in the organization, you need less of maybe technical skills. You need more of conceptual skills, more of the soft skills to be able to handle higher responsibilities, emotional intelligence, and all the rest. One more thing that people have mentioned again is that just like Mr. Ashiru has been talking about cross-functional skills, and somebody has said that the most important cross-functional skill for any career person is the knowledge of finance. That whether you are in operation, you are in marketing, you are in sales, you are in HR, that the ability to marry your functional knowledge with the financial, maybe the bottom line, because at the end of the day, that is what matters to the organization. It doesn't matter whether you are a sales manager, become an MD, or a marketing manager. So what's your view about this? People have said finance, that the knowledge of finance, that's why people have done courses, finance for non-finance managers, a lot of things when it comes to being able to see the bottom line, financial knowledge, balance sheet, and all the rest. What's your view on this, that financial knowledge is the most important for a functional career person seeking to move to C-level roles in an organization?
Let me be clear. It is one of the important knowledge. You understand? It is one of the important things. You must know the finance. You must also understand your business purpose, which is, let's put it this way. Your finance knowledge is because you want to know the profitability. But what about your sales knowledge? If the business is not making the desired volume, and what is the market like? You understand? What is your market? Do you understand your market? Do you understand even what your competitors are doing? Do you understand the pricing behind your competitors? Why are your competitors cheaper than you? You understand? So you have to understand. It's like you move to C-level, you must understand finance, you must understand marketing, you must understand sales. You must also understand your HR, because that is your people. You must understand how you want to build your people through their learning and development. Your learning and development. You understand? So these are key things. Finance is one of the important things, and that is one of the reasons you have to open your mind to everything. You might know finance if you don't know the basis in which your competitors are. Even your product quality is important in the market, because you go to the market, your product is looking like anything else. I mean, you yourself will not be proud to pick your product. So you have to understand all parts of the organization. You must not say, because I'm this person, nothing concerns me with quality, nothing concerns me. Even safety, your reputation is also at risk. If you are killing people on the road, I'm sure you guys read a lot about Dangote and all those things, how their trucks are killing. So all those things are important. You understand? So you must understand everything, but don't limit yourself only to thinking that finance is important, because number one, you never become a financial director anyway, because you don't have the financial certification. You understand? But build yourself across the organization. Even if you don't have the opportunity of working across the functions, understand what each function does. There was a time in WAMCO we introduced in my foot or something, where we bring people from corporate affairs into the factory. In my shoes, where we bring people from corporate affairs into the factory, where we bring people from HR to come and work in the factory and all those things. They immediately understood what these factory boys were going through. You understand?
Thank you so much, sir. And Larry, just to add to that, actually, you don't have to be in finance to know finance. Every function has an element of finance, even HR. So that is what you need to understand. An HR person needs to understand his overhead cost. How does the increase in overhead impact his bottom line? The guy in supply chain needs to understand his cost of warehousing, which is called the D&S cost, the total distribution and selling cost. How does an increase in inventory affect my working capital? And that is the money-making capability that everyone should have. The sales guy should understand definitely how his price markings actually affect the bottom line of the business. The security man, need to understand finance, need to understand the fact that, or let me just use the word safety. If I don't keep people safe to work in a safe environment, then you're going to lose people to probably accidents or whatsoever. And when you lose people, you think on need to pay their salary if possible. That is a loss to the business. So all this, there's a connection of dots to all this, and that is what we need to know as a business. Maybe not necessarily that now in supply chain, I have to go back and become a finance director or something before I can climb that ladder. I don't think that is what it is. Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Titi, please. Titi, yes. I understand where you're coming from. The reason why I said finance is because it is being said that there are two KPIs that are the most unifying in any organization. And if anybody can do that, it doesn't matter your job function. If you can trace what you do to those two things, then you have done well. They say number one, reduce costs, and number two, increase revenue. That any idea you bring that can reduce cost and also increase
that's
revenue.
the business.
Or
That is the essence of the business.
That is your CEO. That is your CEO's target.
Everything everyone is doing is to
do that.
reduce cost and increase revenue. If whatever you're doing in your space does not link to that, you're wasting your time.
Exactly.
That is one thing everyone should have at the back of their mind.
Exactly. I guess that's exactly Larry's point, that whatever
Exactly.
you're doing, just make sure that you're thinking, value, not
Exactly.
finance, yes, in the sense of value to the business.
You're in quality. If whatever you're doing, your day-to-day activity
must reduce cost
does not
and increase
help to
revenue.
reduce cost or increase revenue, then you're not working. You're in marketing, whatever you're doing, you're just increasing cost and you're not looking at reducing cost. Then you're definitely not effective. And this is what the business is looking out for in every individual. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, no, but for me, I'm just in R&D. What is my business with cost savings? Oh, I'm just in corporate affairs. I don't have to reduce costs. But if you go out in your corporate affairs duty and you don't look for how tax rebates can be recovered, you don't look at how and they keep charging
less
you.
Damaging PR situation, yeah.
Or if you're in safety, if you're in quality, your materials keep getting damaged, and rates of course keep going up every day. Then you're losing your value as a businessman. So everything we do, any function or department we are in, if your daily activities, when you sit down behind that your laptop, the email you're sending, it is not to reduce cost or increase revenue, my brother, you are wasting your time.
And those are the value points. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Titi, if you don't allow people to ask their question, you'll be the one to bring Mr. Ashiru again for season 2 of this thing. If you don't allow people to ask their question,
you know what we will do?
We've
season 2. Season 2, and we need him to prepare for his golf session.
I'm going to play golf soon, so
I'm not seeing any hands raised again. So I can assume that there are no more questions.
Emanuela Awo.
Oh, Emanuela.
Yes,
okay, please go on, Emanuela. Sorry.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Ife, for this program, and thank you to the moderator. Yes, Madam Ife. Thank you to the moderator and Mr. Doyin. It's been a very great session so far, an eye opener. And I have this learning I had in front of my mind I wanted to take at the end of this session, and that's why I'm asking. I have listened to you and I've heard you say that a lot of the jobs you got was largely based on recommendation from your previous track records of success and all of that. So, but I really want to know, because somebody once told me that if at 50 or by the time I'm 60, I want it to be that when my story is being written, you can say I'm seated on the board of about 10 companies. Then I need to make sure that I'm very deliberate about the companies I work for, and I need to try to just stick with A-list companies. So there's something about the credibility that working with A-list companies and doing very well there's something it does to your record. So I looked at your profile, and now I don't know if that is true, but I feel like, yeah, maybe it does add some things anyway. But then that's not the point. The point is that I looked at your profile and I saw that you did stick to that. Like, it's from GM to Unilever to Coca-Cola to Friesland. It's been only A-list company. So why I know that the recommendations did work, was there any other thing you did? And I also heard you say things like, no matter how hungry I am, I can't work for an Indian company. I also liked that. So I see it's deliberate. So I just want to also ask, what other particular things did you do to make you achieve this in the course of your career so far?
Yeah, I've not actually worked for many companies. I've only worked for, let's recognize that the General Motors was also part of Unilever in the past. The only thing I can say that made a bit of a difference is the fact that if I can afford to leave Coca-Cola at some point and went back again, like I said, that's my first, after I finished, that was the first organization I joined, you understand? Then I went back again, but of course, I'm not sure that I had any impact when I first worked with Coca-Cola because I may not have maybe been known, but of course. But I left Unilever after 8 years and went back again. And I left Friesland Campina, and now I'm in another organization. So it's been 3. But the main thing is this. I've also had offers from a lot of organizations. I have to be clear on that. I have to make my choices. You understand? I've had offers from even across the road, then Guinness. You understand? When I was, in fact, for more than a year, they were on my case. I've had offers from several other organizations, which I'm not going to mention, but are also a list. But you have to identify which organization will add value to you. Even I moved in May to join my new organization. As I speak with you, even last week, I've gotten 3 or 4 calls within the US. You understand? I've gotten 3. You understand? I've gotten 3 or 4 calls within the US. So it's not about jumping here and there only. It's also about looking at the purpose and the reason. Because I asked myself, okay, why will I leave Wamco to the other side of the road, Guinness? And what my analysis was this: Guinness will remain a challenging business as long as they stick to stout. Because the older generation of people that love stout are dying. People are now beginning to take NIC, Johnny Walker, and all those sort of things. And that is not in the local production portfolio. So for how long will, you understand? It will always be a struggle. So you have to look at the purpose of the business you are moving to, along with your peace of mind and career and the value you're going to add. So you're not just going to join a company because you want to jump the ship. You understand? You also have to understand, at least at my level, I have to understand that where is this taking me to on the long run? You understand? So that is the difference.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Larry, do you have another question? All right.
I have plenty of questions, but since Mr. Ashiru wants to go and do something, it's an opportunity to converse with a great man like him. So there are lots of questions. So if I could ask one more, at least I won't ask any other one after this one again.
All right,
okay, sir. Ahead. So if you look at it in the context, I don't know, sir, how much of football you watch, sir. But if you look at it in the context of the football, there are times in which great talent sit side by side with a lot of maybe attitude and a lot of issues. You know, sometimes Barcelona or Real Madrid will need to shift their ground a lot because of Messi or Ronaldo. So, 2 questions. Have you been in your careers, have you had such experience in which you have an highly talented employee that comes with a lot of baggage? And if you had that, how are you able to manage that? That is number 1. And number 2, has there been an instance in which somebody is very, we wanted to promote somebody and then the person is qualified, but you have to look at other things not to give the role to the person? Because people mentioned that I was the one that is supposed to be promoted. I'm competent, but God doesn't like me, which means there are some other things. So have you had an instance like that, that you are to promote somebody if it's based on competence, but you look at something else and you say, no, we are not going to give this role to this person?
Yeah. The first question is this: I'm not a football and I don't like football. The reason why I don't like football and I don't watch football is the fact that I hate anything that will affect my emotion and I don't have control over. I want to be in charge of my emotion, because you are just a spectator, but the outcome of the game will affect your emotions. So I don't like football. Even when Nigeria is playing, I'm one of those you will not see behind the TV. I'm sorry, people don't like that, but I love golf. And the reason why I love golf is the fact that if you understand golf, you are responsible as a golfer for your score. Even in a game of golf where you play with 4 people, 4 of you are only just working together and then maybe you are keeping each other's scores. Whatever the outcome of the game, you are responsible for it. And in line with what you said, golf actually teaches you more things. that in life, you are responsible for your success or your failure. And you must always learn that. I will link it to your question. You must always learn that when you make a success in this particular hole, you play this hole very well, you play the birdie in this hole, and you carry that success to the next hole, you play badly. So for every time you finish a game, a hole, when you move to the next hole, forget about your success or failure where you have just finished, and play with a fresh mind the next hole you are going to play. And that is when you can move, you can play well. But if you have the time that you allow things to bog your mind so much and all this, you can never play good golf. You must learn to let go of things immediately. So where that comes to be is that there's no permanent talent anywhere. Every talent can be developed. Everybody contributes to their own talents. You understand? If Messi, I'm sure there are millions that want Messi out there in the market, but because they've not been given opportunity, and that is why they never become the Messi. Before Messi, we've had a lot of big names in the past. Where are they today? You understand? It's about how do you keep relevant. So don't let any particular talent blackmail you. I've attracted a lot of people and people have resigned, so be it. One thing I do is that if you tell me you are leaving today, the only thing I ask you, where are you going? If you don't tell me, you understand? Because one thing as a leader you must do immediately is to be able to get people that can fit into every role. And that's the essence of the succession planning that TT mentioned earlier on. So that is it. Sorry, remind me of the second question again.
I think I almost. Larry, can you still remember?
Yeah,
I can't remember that second question.
No, okay. Why I cannot promote somebody or the person feels that he earned the promotion? Yes, the person, you may think that you deserve a promotion, but like I've said several times on this platform now, you may think that you deserve a promotion, but I've told you there are so many reasons why promotions are being considered. Did you meet all those criteria? You understand? So that is a fact. So many things apart from you achieving your target. I even gave an example of visibility across the other function. Your job's supposed to be related to another function. Do you even go there? Do they even know you? And then you want the person leading that function to contribute to the statement on your promotion or not? No. You understand? It is your contribution. You can't be in sales or in operations or something, and then if you are related to other functions and then you want the other person to talk about you, sorry, it will be difficult for the person except you are doing a lobbying job.
Thank you very much, sir. This is indeed a full master class. Well, that's one thing I failed to learn from you, though, and that's that golf. I think one day I'll have the time to do that.
It looks like we're
Thank
not
you
going to
so
leave.
much.
Two hands are raised.
We have to. Ow.
But we have to. And there are people who haven't spoken before. It's Larry that is binging.
Okay, let's accommodate those two. Let's accommodate those two.
And then we make it a close.
Yeah.
Larry was binging on Doyin all through today.
So Ifeoma, can we have you, please?
Yes, thank you very much.
Privilege.
Thank you very much for this privilege to be here this afternoon. I've learned so much. Thank you to Mr. Doyin Ashiru. I've learned a lot from you this afternoon, and most practically, I learned from the golf experience, why you should leave things behind and move forward. That was awesome. But I have a question, or rather, I need an advice. If you are a young entrepreneur playing in Nigeria, and with a lot of financial ups and downs and also changing times, political instability and all that, would you go all out to play here? Because sometimes I'm torn between two options. I have really brilliant ideas and somehow establish something going in the medical industry. And then, but when you look at the future, you look at the immediate future and maybe in the next 5 years, what you're seeing, it doesn't give you this, it doesn't give me this encouragement to actually sit put and do these things, to come all out and play.
there's this fear. Should I go away? Should I stay here? So what advice would you give me, considering the instability of our country, our home country, Nigeria?
Let me give you a simple example for that. I may not have the right recommendation, but let me give you a simple example for that. The first thing is that if you are doing, let's say you're doing a business, of course, we know our environment is not accommodating, finance and supporting young business and all the rest of them. But there are times also in the course of the business, you need an outside opinion to guide and frame your thoughts. Never limit yourself to what you know or what you think you know. Seek opinions, seek advices, seek direction. You understand? It helps you to take other people's view. Another way I also do things is this. When you take time out, don't think of that. When you have issues to resolve, take time out from that particular problem. And then you find out that while you are reflecting, that's one of the benefits I actually have from golf. Whenever I'm playing golf and I have issues I need to sort out, I actually come across solutions more from it. You understand? What I'm trying to say is that don't let the business weigh you down. You must step back and have a reflection from outside of the business. And that helps you. Because one of the problems we have is that it's the same way as you talk about business. Some people will tell you that they get to work as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. They are leaving work at 8 or 9 p.m. in the evening. What the hell? It is not the number of hours you put on the job that makes the difference. It is the efficiency of what you have done that makes the difference. What is the impact of your contribution? You understand? So don't tie yourself down. Always look at what is next for me to do and what is next for me to do. And if there are issues that you cannot resolve, seek opinion, learn. Google is also there for you to learn from. You understand? And there are so many case studies you can also learn from. But never bog yourself down there until you resolve this issue. Then when it comes to finance, as you said, investors will only invest in your business when they see prospect in it. If it's a unique business, then you have a chance of bringing in an investor or people supporting it in that way. Unfortunately, we don't have much of venture capitalists in.
You're muted, sir.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? I don't know at what time I got muted. Maybe somebody muted me.
Venture capitalists.
Yeah, there are a lot of venture capitalists. We don't have a lot of venture capitalists in Nigeria that help startups, you understand? But again, put yourself in the media, put yourself in the social media, put yourself in every available space so that word of mouth and word of social media and all those things, even if possible, link up with Google also, that when somebody type this, your business also comes out as part of the businesses that are doing that. That way, you may start getting not only patronage, you may start getting even international venture capitalists looking at you. You understand? So that is what I will advise about that. Because incidentally, the job I'm currently doing now, not only that I provide fund for startup, I help a lot of startups. I also help big multinationals. You understand? And I know what that means. And there are some venture capitalists also that I fund for them to fund startups. That of course, that will be based in the US. You understand? I'm sure most of you have heard about Impossible Burger. Impossible Burger is one of the sources of my job in terms of those are the people that made burger out of vegetables or plant-based, something beef. So those are the kind of, you have a lot of them, but unfortunately in Nigeria now, they are not there. And I even advise any young person starting a business in Nigeria to go to any bank in Nigeria to borrow money. You cannot borrow money at 20-something%. No business will give you a profit of 20-something%. So that means that business is going to fail. So whatever way you start the business with, any way to start up your business without having to borrow money from the bank, you are better off with that. You understand? But what helps a business is patronage and people being aware of it.
Thank you so much.
Step back oftentimes and look at the business from outside and take opinion also from outside. It helps.
Sure.
That's where also network also help the business.
Okay. Lessons learned.
Thank you, sir. We'll take the last question from Dominic.
Maybe just before the last question, I think
Mr. Doyin, Ashiru had actually dealt with Ifeama's question very well. I know a number of small businesses who make sure that they have some sort of board of directors, people from across industries with some level of experience that, like board of advisory, so to say. And then they help them, bring in different ideas and thoughts, into how the business is doing. Even sometimes some people look into their
I didn't want to say that directly to her, that she needs to get board of directors also, because it may still be a business that is, if you are not careful, you go and bring in some board of directors, they will take over your business. Advisory, okay, fine.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
Dominic,
you.
we've done 2 hours, 30 minutes, and I think as a moderator, I have the power to stop the show now. Sorry about that. But to give everyone a fair hearing and fair, I would like to have Dominic as the last questionnaire. Dominic, please.
Thank you very much, Temi. Thank you, Doyin, Ashiru. I think I really want to thank you for your authenticity, at least because when I listen to the things you have said, they are just true. I remember saying that people have to be trained and there should be no politics in picking them. It just reminded me of my first time ever traveling to India. He just said, if we have to pass that enzyme audit, then send this guy to go and learn that thing. And I think that was the last time that we failed an enzyme audit in Unilever. Okay, but my question is this. So how do you, I know you would have had difficult bosses, for lack of a better word, but how do you make your boss see your perspective? Because you are employed to bring about change, but if your boss is not seeing that change that you're bringing from your perspective to maybe to take away mediocrity from a particular environment, how do you drive that perspective so they can buy into that change that you are bringing, and it doesn't look as if you're fighting the system, or you're not ready to, you're not a cultural fit?
You know what I call that? What you need to do is what is called passive resistance.
Okay.
Passive resistance means that you are not resisting obviously and openly. What you're doing is that you have an idea that you know that, okay, your boss don't want. In your own space, start doing it. You understand? Like you mentioned the enzyme, which is the powder. If you feel that there's a way you want to dose the enzyme or you want to do something about it, start doing it and let the results start showing indirectly. You understand? Without taking a big risk on your quality. I'm just talking about your job, you understand? Without taking it. The passive resistance out of it is that on your own space, there are certain things you can do to start showing your example, to start showing your idea, to start bringing up your idea. You understand? By the time the results start coming out, people start seeing, how come this thing is improving? How come this is improving? That is when you come back again and show, this is what I actually did. The same boss that is not receptive to your idea will respect you. You understand? It has to be calculated. It's a risk. It has to be calculated. But it's something like I tell people, believe in it. If you believe in it, you can beat your chest on. Then go through the passive resistance approach. You know what I mean by passive resistance? That means you are not flaunting it and saying no, but gradually. I mean, believe it, it has happened to me several times. Even as I was growing up in my career, I've done it several times. And I can tell you a lot of my direct reports and subordinates have done it, and I recognize it. Because as for me as a leader, I always tell people, I don't know it all. You understand? But bring your views, bring your idea, then, I mean, it also is, TT will tell you, I leave them to run the meetings. I just come in as in the operations meeting and listen through. I don't even lead any meeting. That's my way. Because that way, my opinion is not being kind of imposed on others. You understand? So that's the best way to go about it. You can never have every boss that will support your opinion, but just find a way to develop that idea of passive resistance where you do things not being seen as a rebel, but do it in a way that you kind of try it out in a pilot way and then gradually make that change.
Wow.
Thank
Awesome.
you very much. I tell you, I've also learned a lot today. You can never stop from learning from the lion himself, the giant himself. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. I'm sure Ife, please, you can just wrap the show up. Appreciate Doyin and also
I hope I've
our
been able
audience,
to
and
say
then
the
let's
right
call it a
things
day.
that affect everybody, but I mean, like I said, I don't know it all.
We've been truly blessed by your presence and the time you've also given to attending to all of our questions today. Thank you so very much. And you need to see some of the chats I've started receiving. A lady had to leave just now. She is in Russia, Natalia Sharapova or something. That's her name. So she sent me a message. I sent to Titi. She said, you are a great leader, that she had actually been truly inspired by the session. And I have a number of people too who had to quickly just jump off, and they've sent their thank you. And I'm looking also through the chat room. People have also been dropping in a lot of comments to, which gives credence to the fact that this has been truly value adding. Thank you so much for pouring out of your so many resources, from your learning, from your experience, from, and making it practical too. You were really, I've always known you to be very pragmatic. So, and thanks for also giving us examples, things that we can relate with, and condoning us, with all our questions. And it seems that you should just be a coach already. That's what it seems to me. It's like people
He is a coach.
One-on-one with you. People all want to have the one-on-one with you already.
He's a master coach.
Thank you so much. And Titi, you're always fantastic, and talking comes easy for you. Doing stuff as this just comes easy for you. I salute you, my dear brother. Thank you for leading this. And of course, you also shared, which I'm sure people will, we look at Oga Doyin up there, and you just got into that point, really, really, where a lot of us are also aspiring to be in. So you give us more recent examples, like Mr. Doyin Ashiru also mentioned. Thank you for joining in on this, and blessing us with, a lot from your experience, with all the recent ones that you had either in WAMCO and also in the OPCO Africa. So thank you so very much. And to all the audience, thank you. You've been wonderful, fantastic.
I want to believe we can access the video afterwards, probably on YouTube, right?
Yes, yes. So we will have it uploaded on YouTube. So I already checked.
You can send me the link also.
Got into that. Thank you so very much. And you have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
By the way, before we go, if I just posted another masterclass coming on by 6 p.m. Join me also in that masterclass if you want. Yeah.
Copy the link. I'll hold on, people. Before you exit, I'm going to post it again. Post the masterclass. Let's learn about Titi, can you post it?
I just did. Yeah. Please save the link and also join by 6 o'clock for the married couples. Let's talk about finance in marriage.
All right. Do take care. And
thank you.
Talk to you
Bye.